Could you help me with this one? It doesn't seem to work. I need to, because I can't see how the situation is right now without this. It's okay, I'll join from my own. After you update, could you like pass it back to me? I'm suddenly not. Oh, there we go. I found it. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to the live. Oh, has it been updated? Hi everyone. Welcome to the live. Alright, so today we'll be going through some questions. Guys, could you guys cancel out like the bottom row? You can see the because they're showing other logos, you know. Alright. Hi everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to the live. Okay, today we'll be going through some questions. Okay, we have a bit of technical buffer, but we're going through some questions. These questions are all according to the curriculum. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can always let us know, and our moderator will get back to you guys. The moderator or me will get back to you guys. All right. So can everyone hear me well? All right. So over here, okay, I'm gonna start going through some S&T questions. Okay, so these are the kind of questions that you will be likely to be tested on in school. Okay, so I'm gonna go through them right now. Okay, please let me know if you have any answers, and then I can go through them, help you mark them, and then we can discuss them later on. All right. Okay. Please give me a second. Alright, so over here we are doing this question where, as John is afraid of snakes, he refuses to go into the woods. And what we're gonna do is that we are trying to rephrase it so that it is now in reported speech. Alright. Okay, reported speech. So one of the tips I always give students is that when it comes to reported speech, it's very, very important for students to be able to imagine themselves in a situation where someone else is telling them something someone else said, or they are telling someone else that something that someone else said, okay? And then it makes sense when they rephrase it in that certain way, okay? So that is one of the best ways to see if you are um, your the logic of your sentence sounds correct. All right, okay, so let's begin. Okay, as John is afraid of snakes, he refuses to go into the woods. All right, so we have this, okay, and we have to add the out of his noun into the sentence. All right, so over here, this essentially introduces the clause. All right, so it introduces the noun clause, and that's why we have to, okay, I'm going to just write it down first. Okay, introduces noun clause. Okay, and I want to put a bit of emphasis onto the idea that it is the noun clause, because now that it isn't, we know that it's a noun clause, we have to change this. Okay, we have to change this. Instead of afraid, we will write fear. Okay, so that is the noun of afraid. Okay, so we will be writing as John is. Okay, so out of his, we will change it to out of his fear of snakes. Okay, and then not snakes. And then we will write John. Okay, because we are using his over here, so we have to introduce the subject. We have to introduce the subject, so we will put John refuses to go into the woods. All right. Okay, to give a little bit more insight, okay, to explain it a little bit more, okay, this is essentially the effect, okay. Now, the cause of this that we can see over here is this, where John is afraid of snakes and therefore he refuses to go into the woods. All right, so what we're going to do over here is that we are putting the cause directly here where it introduces a noun cause, and the effect here, okay, after the cause. All right, next question. All right, next question. Okay, so we have 18. Lena was worried about the exam. She could not sleep. All right, so what we can do over here, okay, again, it is out of her. So what we do over here is we are trying to look at two very similar questions. Okay, I hope that students will be able to use what they learned in the previous question over here, okay, and have a bit of an understanding of what is required of them. All right, okay. Okay, out of her, again, it introduces noun clause. All right, now in this situation, we are not talking about fear anymore. We are talking about Lena's worry. Okay, she is not worried. Okay, we have to use the word worry. Okay, worry about the exam. Okay, so we have to say Lena was worried. Okay, we don't say Lena was worried. Okay, so out of her worry, and we try to keep this the same, not for anymore, about the exam, of her worry about the exam. Okay, and we're not gonna put a full stop anymore, we're gonna put a comma, okay, to separate the two clauses. Okay, out of her worry about the exam, Lena, okay, because we have to introduce a subject at some point, and since we are not introducing it over here, her, we put in her, so we have to introduce her name at some point. We will put the subject over here. Okay, subject, and we'll put it over here. Lena could not sleep. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay, please let me let me know if that makes sense to everyone. Okay, feel free to ask me if you guys have any questions. Okay, the moderator is also here. Okay, so you guys can feel free to let her know if you guys have any questions, or let me know if you guys have any questions, and we can go through it again together. Okay, or if you are struggling with PSLE and you would like some tips and tricks, okay, you can let me know, and I would try my best to actually support any questions that you guys might have or answer them. All right. Okay. I must see her tomorrow, said Mr. Tan. All right. So now Mr. Tan said, now this is reported speech. Okay. It was the one I mentioned before. Okay. Now with reported speech, one of the things that I always tell my students that is honestly, personally, I used it when I was a student, is the best way to see whether your sentence makes sense, whether or not there is logic in your sentence, is to pretend that you are now telling your friend something that someone else said. Okay, and for example, I am telling my friend that what Mr. Tan said, and I would tell her, would I say, I must see her tomorrow, said Mr. Tan. No, this is not something I would say, right? So reported speech has to be the format of which I would likely tell my friend something a third person said. All right, so in this case, Mr. Tan said, okay, this is the standard format of reported speech. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I'm going to rephrase it, okay? Let me know if you guys know the answer. Okay. Okay. Over here, Mr. Tan. Okay, first things first, we will change this. I will become he, okay? And must, okay? Must is a word that kind of gives the idea of obligation, or someone just very intensely want to do something, all right? So must, we will use had to, okay, to keep that in line, or we can use ought to. All right. So Mr. Tan said he had to, and then we keep everything, almost everything else the same. We're gonna change tomorrow as well to see her the next day. Okay, so if you would prefer, you can use the following day. So over here, I'm gonna write the next day or the following day. Okay, so these are both options, all right? So now this is what we're working on, all right? So for those that just came into the live, do let me know if you have any questions, all right? Do let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is that we are, okay, so you guys can see here what now this makes a lot of sense, because like let's say I were to tell my friend what Mr. Tan said. Okay, Mr. Tan is the third person, and I said Mr. Tan, I say to my friend, Mr. Tan said that he had to see her the next day, and then it makes sense. Okay, so that is something that a little trick you guys can use, right? And then we have the second type of question. Okay, so I would say that it is good to try similar questions one after the other, especially if you get them wrong, because it is one of the best ways to test if you actually understand the mistake that you corrected. Okay, so this is something that you guys can take a look at. Okay, the designer said, okay, blank. Okay, let's take a look at this. Again, over here, this is one thing about the paper that you guys should know. Over here, like you see in question 19, they say Mr. Tan, so that we know it's a he. We know that it's a he, all right? But over here, since they're saying designer, we can use either a he or she pronouns, because over here they didn't specify. So the examiner is not likely to they're not likely to penalize you for this. So I think personally it's completely fine. You shouldn't be marked wrong for this, all right? The designer said, okay, and you can change I. I'm gonna go with he, but you can also go with she, okay? And the designer said he, okay? And now the thing about this is we are changing this from can to could. We're changing it to past tense. And now the reason for that is because now that we are doing reported speech, essentially what is happening is that you are giving someone else a recount of what someone said. Okay, so hi, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Hi, 6695. All right. Thank you so much for joining the live. Okay. But yes, when it comes to this, definitely you are giving a recount of what someone else is saying. It will be in the past. It is considered past tense. All right. So for this, it is so important that you are changing your tenses to the past tense. All right. So you're not retaining that present tense situation. Okay. Or you might be marked wrong. All right. So can, we will change to could. Okay. And tomorrow, like how we changed it previously, we can change it to the following day, or we can change it to the next day. Okay, so it is up to you, but I personally prefer the next day, so I'm going to write that. Hi, welcome to the live, how are you, are you here? Do you have any specific questions? Okay, do you have any specific questions? You can let me know. I will try to get back to you. Okay, so we have a moderator here as well. Okay, we are currently going through English papers. Okay, for students who are going through the exams. Okay, this is a way to support them and make sure that they understand what might come out during the exam. All right. All right, our moderator is writing to you right now. Okay. Our moderator is writing to you. Yes, yes, yes. It is English. It is English. Yes, it is English. Okay, so okay, over here, so like I said, we change it to past tense. Okay, from can we change to could. Tomorrow we change to the following day or the next day. Okay, so again, for this too, it is up to you, and you can also choose whether you want to write he or she. Okay, that is up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna rewrite it according to what we wrote. Okay, the designer said that he could finish the project by the next day. Okay, so that is what I'm going to write down. The designer said he could finish the project. Yes, yes. Yes. For this live, you can just watch it as it is. But if you would like to take a look, yeah. All right. The moderator is getting back to you. All right. The designer said he could finish the project by the next day. Okay, so okay, this is it. The designer said he could finish the project by the next day. Okay, so this again is a sentence that you can say to someone and it still makes sense. So I can tell you what the designer said to me. So the designer said to me that he could finish the project by the next day. Okay, so it makes sense now when I'm telling this to you. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look at another question. Okay, so please take a look with me. Okay, Tom insists that he is innocent. All evidence points to Tom as the culprit. Okay, so this question is different from the reported speech that we were doing just now. Over here, what we are doing is that we are trying to readjust the sentence so that the sentence form and sentence structure is a bit different, all right? So if you know what the answer might, yes, 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 we are. Yes, we are. Yes, yes. If you have any idea what the answer might be, or if you have any questions, okay, feel free to let me know and I will answer your questions over here. All right. All right. Yeah, our moderator is getting back to you. We are a tuition center. All right, all right. There is you can take online classes if you like as well. You can take online classes if you like as well. All right, so you can choose online as well if you feel like you would rather take it from home, or yeah. All right. Okay, so again, we are starting with although here. Okay, now although, okay, the thing about although is that it introduces, okay, it introduces contradiction. Okay, now the idea of contradiction is that you have two different yeah, we have two different sentence ideas, and they are not in line with each other. Like for example, we are talking that Tom insists that he is innocent, but at the same time evidence suggests that Tom is the culprit. Okay, although introduces contradiction. Okay, although suggests that there are two different ideas, that are separate. Okay, and you're trying to put them together, and then you're using although to introduce that. Should I use Chinese?
You can explain in Chinese for this one.
OK OK，although 这个词就是说有两个不同的比如说你是说你有两个句子，它有不同的意思，然后你用 although 把它们两个拼起来，那就是对对对，
虽然
嗯，although 好像跟虽然也不一样吧，it's not 好像虽然是 even though 虽然 is even though is not the same as although. It is not. 虽然 is even though. Yeah. No, 尽管 is like.
But it's what they say there, though.
Really? That's crazy. I don't. Really? 大概明白了。OK，那就好，那就好。Okay, so although introduces the idea of contradiction. Okay, so although, so we're just gonna keep it the same. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this down here. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down here. So although Tom insists that he is innocent, okay, and then we have to, instead of taking, we're gonna take this away, comma, all the evidence, we're gonna take this away and we're gonna change it to a comma, all the evidence, okay, all this all the evidence points to him. Okay, so we've already introduced Tom over here, we've introduced Tom's name over here, so we're not going to say Tom again, we're going to change from Tom to him. We're going to change from Tom to him. All right, we're going to change from Tom to him. Points to him as the culprit. All right, so okay, I hope everyone understands this roughly. All right, okay, now let's see the next one. Okay, so it's another although question. It's another although question over here. Okay, so again, although introduces contradiction. Okay, so now there are two situations that we have over here. Number one is that this person trained very hard for the tournament, but she did not win. Okay, so it really does not it's two very different ideas. Okay, because you would imagine that for someone who is training for a tournament for a long time or training very hard, they're gonna win, but this is not the case. Okay, so we two contrasting ideas. Okay, so although introduces contradiction, and it also, okay, can you guys see if I were to write this here? Okay, I am going to move this over here. Introduces contradiction. Okay, introduces contradiction, and at the same time it introduces Contrast. Okay, so there is a certain contrast between effect and outcome. Okay, so in this case, she trained very hard for the tournament, she did not win. Okay, so over here, this is the effort and this is the outcome. Okay, unfortunately it is not in line. Okay, so we are going to, okay, although she trained very hard for the tournament, comma, and we're gonna take this one away and we're gonna add it, change it into a comma. Okay, she did not win. Okay, does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone? Alright, so although she trained very hard for the tournament, she did not win. Okay, now one of the questions that students might have is that why am I using two she's over here? Okay, and that's a very valid question. Okay, now if let's say in a situation like this, you see that we have number one, the name Tom and him. Okay, we have a name over here, so we will be using the name at least once to introduce the subject. But since in this case there is completely no name over here, we will just be using she or her. All right, so it's okay, we try to introduce the subject as much as possible, but in the case of sentences in transformation, if there isn't a specific subject for you to introduce, don't add a name, don't add a name. Okay, don't make up a name. That's not gonna work. Okay, that's not gonna work. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. All right, oh, I don't speak Malay. I don't speak Malay. All right, I don't speak Bahasa. All right. Okay, the zookeeper did not lock the gate, the deer escaped. Ooh, this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one. Every time I go through this with a student, at least someone gets it wrong. Okay, there's a reason for that. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you guys, but there is a reason why. Okay, there is a reason why. You guys can try this question. All right. So now the idea of hat is mostly it's a conditional. Okay, it's a conditional. And what a conditional is that it talks about an unreal past situation and its results. And results, all right? Okay, so over here, that is what it is, okay? So essentially, over here, the zookeeper did not lock the gate, the deer escaped. But now that we're putting in the word had, we are trying to introduce a situation, a hypothetical, unreal situation where the zookeeper locked the gate and the deer did not escape. So what we're doing over here is we're flipping the entire thing. Okay, that's why I always tell the students that if you see the word had, okay, if you see the word had, okay, I'm gonna write it here. If you see the word had, oh goodness, if you see the word had, you see the word if, and you see the word unless, be extra careful. All right, so it is possible to make mistakes with these words no matter how much practice you have. So I would say really be extra careful with those words, okay? Because sometimes you only need to flip half of the sentence and sometimes you need to flip both sentences, okay? Oh, German. Oh, wow. That makes me wish I learned properly. No, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Why did you move to Germany? That is so cool. All right. Okay. The deer escaped. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here, okay, Okay. Over here, had the, so we're gonna change the zookeeper did not lock the gate. We're gonna change it to lock the gate. So we're gonna change it to the idea that they did in fact lock it. All right. So the deer escaped. The deer would not have, okay, escaped. All right. So now that this is past tense, we're gonna keep it that way. Had, okay, I'm gonna all pull it all down here now. All right. Had the zookeeper locked the gate, okay, the deer would not have escaped. All right, so this is how it is. Okay, so had the zookeeper locked the gate, the deer would not have escaped. That is how you would go about this question. All right. Oh, I see, I see. I see, I see. I feel like most people in Singapore, most people, okay, the older generation, they know a bit of Bahasa or Malay. Unfortunately, I am not one of them. Okay. Despite having lived in Singapore for a long time, I don't speak Malay. I really don't speak Malay. But I think it's super cool that you can. I'm assuming you know how to speak German, or what you guys. Yeah, you guys know how to speak German. It's, you guys call it Deutsch, right? Deutsch. That's all I know. All right. So you guys speak. You should be speaking. You should speak German. You speak Chinese. You speak Malay, and now you're learning English. That is, four languages is a flex. Four languages is something to be proud of. Right? Four languages is something to be proud of. I would love to pick up like a third language. And okay, one day maybe learn four languages. That would be super cool. That would be super cool. All right. 14. All right. He did not submit the application on time. He missed the scholarship opportunity. Okay, so it is a bit of like a cause and effect situation. Okay, so the reason why he missed scholarship opportunity is because he did not submit the application on time. However, over here we have the word had. So it does say that it requires you to introduce um, an unreal past situation. And for this, you would usually have to invert. Okay, you would have to invert. Okay, so over here, what you do is that, okay, had he, okay, so he did not submit, we're gonna change to had he submitted. He missed, we're gonna change to would not have. So as you can see over here, the key is truly would not have. Okay, and the ed. Okay, so when there is something negative, you change, you take away the negative words and you add ed to it. And when it is negative with the ed over here, you change it to would not have. Okay, so that is what you would be doing essentially. Okay, I see a bunch of people coming into the chat. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. All right, welcome to the live. All right, so okay, hat. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is that we are, since we have already switched this, we are going to move it down. All right, so we're gonna move it both down. All right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, had he submitted the application on time? Should I just use a bit of Chinese? Should I just use a bit of Chinese, like when they're asked questions? I'll just use Chinese. On time. Okay. He. Jason's giving the thumbs up. he would not have missed this scholarship opportunity. Hello. Hello. 那你是会4种语言吗？ It is true. 4 languages is a massive flex. She, no, think of it. She knows German. She knows Chinese. Bahasa. Learning English. It's 4. I want 4 languages. Alright. Had he submitted the application on time, he would not have missed the scholarship opportunity. Alright. So that is the answer for this one. Alright. And then we have this one, which is super tough. This too, it's also conditionals. Okay, that is why you guys have to really focus over here. All right. Conditionals. Okay. So the question that we have here is Ali will go for basketball training this afternoon unless it rains. All right. So, okay, this is a trick question. This is a trick question. Okay. So almost everyone gets this wrong, okay? But it's fair, it's fair. It is a very tough question, okay? So I would definitely say be extra careful with this, okay? Now, first things first, I will give you guys a massive, massive hint, and that is this word. Okay, now for the word unless, unless is the logical equivalent of if not, okay? So now if I were to rephrase this with the word if not, it would sound something like this. Ali will go for basketball training this afternoon if it does not rain. Okay, does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so if it does not rain, okay, so now what we're going to do, okay, it becomes a lot easier when you start understanding the word unless as if not, okay? Now, the most common mistake that people make is that when they see the word unless, they don't think it is they don't think Jason typed in the chat. They don't think that it is a massive issue, and they don't think that unless is an issue, and they just overlook the word. Okay, but however, what you should be doing. Hi everyone. All right. So what you should be doing is that you should be flipping it. So if not rains. Okay, so I'm gonna write it as if it does not rain, okay, because we are using the if not from over here, and then we're putting this over here, and this will be over here. If it does not rain, comma, okay, remember the comma, remember this one, okay, Ali will go for basketball training. All right, so please be careful of this. Glad to see that everyone is talking in the chat a bit. That is great. All right, that is absolutely great. All right. Okay, and then we have this one, but this one is slightly different because we are putting the if into the middle of the sentence. So it is not at the front of the sentence, we are moving it to the middle of the sentence. All right, so that is slightly different. Okay, so it is something to note. All right, it is something to note. All right, so you will be late, you leave now. Okay, so we had a lot of funny answers when we did this previously with our students. All right, but let's see what everyone's answers might be this time. All right. Ooh. All right, so let's see what everyone's answers might be. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. All right. Hi, Jiazhou flat rate. All right. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. All right. You will be late, you will leave now. Okay, so what we can do over here is if we are to change it, okay, we are going to change it. Okay. Hi, hi. 大家好. All right, you'll be late, you leave now. Okay, so what will we change it to? Okay, so we have the if over here. Me too, me too. I love ice cream. All right, you will be late, you leave now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, let me put this down. You will be late. Is that like a meme or something? I think it is a meme. I heard some of my friends saying it a long time ago. All right, you will be late. Okay, and right now we can't just put, okay, we're gonna have to flip this, okay, because after if we always have to invert. Okay, after, okay, I'm gonna write it down here. After if had, if is introduces a hypothetical situation. It's kind of like 如果. It's kind of like 如果. My handwriting is terrible in Chinese. So if everyone thinks my English handwriting is bad, my Chinese handwriting is even worse. All right, my Chinese handwriting is even worse. All right, so invert. So you will be late if you don't leave now. Okay, so we have to invert this one. We have to invert this one. And from leave, we have to change to do not. Sorry, not don't. Do not leave. Okay, let me just change it. If you do not leave now. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay, also please be careful, because I know that some, when you guys are doing assessment books, that sometimes they don't have they do have the full stop at the back over here. Okay, they have it over here, but then the issue with that is that sometimes when you're doing exam papers, you start thinking that, oh, it's already there for me, but sometimes people just leave it out. Okay, so it is always careful to double check if this is over here. Okay, because if this isn't here, you have to add your own full stop. All right, so it is important to like double check this one. All right, okay, let's see. Let's do some grammar MCQs. Okay, let's do some grammar MCQs. Okay, so you have 4 options in this. Okay, you have 4 options, 4. Okay, so you can pick one of the 4 and roughly get an idea. All right. Okay, so let's do question 1. Okay, let's do question 1. Okay, Joe as well as his brothers attending the concert tomorrow evening. Okay, so option 1 is, option 2 is are, option 3 is was, and option 4 is were. Okay, so what might the answer be? Okay, if you guys have any answers, you guys can let me know. Okay, so you can give me 1, 2, 3, or 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, or 4. You guys can let me know. Okay, let me know 1, 2, 3, or 4. All right, okay, let's take a look. Okay, now when it comes to this, one of the most important things to know is the 2 commas. All right, between 2 commas, any content inside is this is grammar. What's grammar in Chinese? This is grammar. Okay, this is grammar. All right, 这种问题4选1，4选1。Right, so this is grammar. This is grammar. All right. Okay, this is grammar. All right, so okay, so what we're gonna do here is between these 2, it is considered extra. Yes, yes, yes. 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 All right. it is. Okay, so do let me know if you have any questions, all right? 这也算是语法，语法。我们现在学的是结构与语法。All right. So extra information over here, Joe, as well as his brothers. So one of the things to note about this is that, okay, when you see two commas, what you're going to do is that you're going to cancel out the information inside. That is one of the easiest way that we tell our students, because the thing is that between the information, we want to ignore it for the verb. Okay, so this is considered extra information, and it is usually extra information that tells us a bit more about the main subject. Okay, so when we are putting a bit of notice to Joe, we are going to ignore this section. Okay, so ignore this section. Okay, so now Joe as well as his brothers, okay, we are ignoring the middle part. Joe is a single subject. He is singular. He is singular. All right, so what we're gonna do over here, okay, attending the concert tomorrow evening, this is past tense. All right, so it requires past tense. Okay, it requires past tense. Okay, so what we're going to do over here is that we are going to see what this is. Okay, is singular, that is correct. Okay, is singular. However, is also present tense. Are is plural. Plural, that means more than one, more than one. Present tense. Was is singular. This is past tense. Were is plural, which is past tense. All right, now we have to make sure that everything is aligned. All right, so especially now that we're talking about Joe and that this is past tense, we have to look for something that is singular and past tense. Okay, is not correct, because is, even though is singular, is present tense. So is incorrect. It is incorrect. Are, even though it are is completely wrong, because it's not only past tense, it's not only present tense, are is also plural. Okay, so I'm canceling out are. Was seems correct, but let's see if we have any better answers. Was is singular and past tense. Okay, let's see the next one. Were is plural and past tense, which is incorrect. So the answer over here is was. Okay, so now, however, do note that this is also because we're talking about Joe as a singular. Joe as well as his brothers, we are canceling out this part. But if you were to write Joe and his brothers, you will be talking about were attending. Okay, but if it's Joe as well as his brothers, it would be was. Okay, so that is the difference. That is the key difference over here. All right, so do let me know if you have any questions. All right, so this is what we have for grammar MCQ. All right, so let's start in question 2. My father, along with his colleagues, blank, going to the science fair this Saturday. All right, so option 1 is, option 2 is are, option 3 is was, option 4 is were. Okay, so what might the answer be? What might the answer be? All right, what might the answer be? Okay, do let me know what the answer might be. Okay, so again, So this is considered extra information. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Okay, I see someone with flower emojis entering the live. Hello. All right. Okay, so over here, first things first, we're talking about this Saturday, so it hasn't happened yet. Okay, it hasn't happened yet, so we're more likely to use like present tense. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do here, okay, present continuous. Okay, we're going to use something called present continuous. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here, okay, is take a look at this. Again, it is my father. Okay, it is a singular subject. Okay, because we're talking, we're ignoring this extra information. Okay, okay, so we're talking about this. All right, so is, again, it is singular. This is present tense. Are is plural, and it's present tense. Was is singular, and it is past tense. Were is plural, and it is past tense. All right. Hello. I see a lot of people joining in the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome. All right. So over here we have singular and present tense, which is. Okay, so over here is does sound correct because we're talking about a singular thing, singular subject, as well as present tense. Okay, makes sense. But let's see if there are any others. All right, are is incorrect because it is plural and present tense. That is not what we're looking for. Was is singular, but it is past tense, so I'm canceling it out. Were is plural and past tense, so I'm canceling it out, leaving us with is. Okay, so again, now if we were to say my father and his colleagues, we will be using are going. Okay, but we're talking in this case where it's my father together with his colleagues. Okay, it would be is going. Okay, so that is the difference, that the main difference over here. Okay, so it is also how it's phrased and the positioning of the what do you call that, it's the positioning of the comma as well. So it is very, very important that you are noting all of this down. Okay, because like I mentioned, commerce can actually, it's not just about sectioning a sentence up, it can also change the way you use certain tenses. All right, so it is something to note. Hi, good has entered. Hi, welcome to the live. All right, so over here let's take a look at something else. Okay, Tom is looking forward to blank the ladder of acceptance to school. All right, so what might the answer be? Okay, so it's question 3. This is the one we're looking at. All right, what might the answer be? What might the answer be? Okay, 有问题的可以尽量问 and the moderator will get back to you. Okay, or if I have any questions, if you have any questions, I can answer you. All right, so you can let me know if you have any questions. All right, but welcome everyone to the live. All right. Okay, Tom is looking forward to blank the ladder of acceptance to the school. Okay, so this is something to note, right? So first things first, okay, first things first, we are looking at the word look forward. So the fact that someone is looking forward something shows that this thing hasn't happened yet. Okay, and so when you're talking about looking forward, it is usually followed by a verb plus ing. Okay, So it's a verb plus ing. Okay, so it is a grammar rule. Okay, it's a grammar rule. Okay, so over here, out of all of this, firstly, receive is base form. Receive is base form. Okay, it cannot follow this. Okay, hi May. May has entered through the home. Hi May, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining. Hi May. All right, so base it is incorrect. All right, so because we are looking for something with an ing over here. Okay, receives. Okay, it is for he something like he receives, she receives. Okay, and it is not suitable in this case. We're talking about she receives or he receives. All right, so do double check this. Do note this down. All right, so please be careful. Okay, and received. Okay, ed is past tense. Past tense is for something that has already happened. All right, so that is not something that we want in this case, so we have to be very careful about this. Okay, and then we have receiving. Okay, receiving, it has the ing over here that we wanted, so number 4 is the answer. Okay, because over here we wanted verb plus ing. Okay, which is this. Okay, it is receive. Okay, in. Okay, that is why we like this word. All right, that is why we are choosing this word. Okay, please be careful. Okay, let's look at question 4. Let's look at question 4. Please let me know if you have any questions, okay, or if you know the answers. Okay, you can let me know. Okay, you can let me know. Okay, Lena is excited about blank her artwork displayed at the school gallery. Okay, so we have 1 C, 2 C, 3 C, 4 C's. All right, so let me know if you have any answers. All right, let me know. Please let me know if you have any answers. Okay, again, she is excited about. Okay. So we are is excited about, so we can assume that this has not happened yet. So we are looking for a verb plus ing. All right, so that is what we're looking for over here. Okay, so that's what we are looking for over here. Okay, so in this case, first word is see. Which is the base form over here. Okay, now and then we have seen, which is the past participle. Okay, and then we have seeing, which is verb plus ing, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so that is correct. Okay, sees, it is present tense. Okay, so it is also not suitable. Okay, so Lena is very excited about seeing her artwork being displayed at the school gallery. All right. Okay, question 5. Okay, I'm going to be the one presenting the project blank. I, Sankyat, as his group member. Okay, so options being am, will, isn't, and aren't. Okay, so now when it comes to this, there is something to note. There is something specific to note. Okay, I always tell students that when no matter what rules there are with English, there are sometimes some exceptions. And it is very, very important for students to note down these exceptions, especially when if they come out during the examination. Okay, so if your examiner feels like being a bit mean to you, they might end up putting it out in the question. All right, so it is important to be careful. All right, so okay, let's take a look. Okay, some of the main rules are he has, hasn't he will, won't he, you have, haven't you, or you can be I have an I, right? Okay, so it's or it is isn't it. Okay, so over here essentially you're adding an nt to the back. Okay, now the biggest pain that we have over here is goodness, I am. Okay, I am is an M and I. M and I. Okay, this is not correct. Okay, it is I am, aren't I? Okay, so it is very important. Hi, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are currently doing English questions. Do let us know if you need any help or if you have any questions of your own. All right, do let us know. Okay, so over here, I am, aren't I? Okay, so over here, since we're I am, breakdown is I am. Okay, so it will be aren't I. Okay, so aren't I, it is not I am I. Okay, so we don't say that because we often, when we are doing a question tag, okay, this doesn't even match sentence tense. Okay, so over here is I am, so it's not will. Isn't, okay, still doesn't match. Okay, and aren't is the final answer. All right, so for those who are wondering, that is the answer. All right. All right, let's take a look. Okay, again, we have a similar question. I am the blank in, I'm the first in line, blank I, said, asked Farah. All right, so in this case, we have am, is, are, aren't. Okay, take a look with me. Please take a look with me. Are we, Yuki? Are we expected to end the live at 4? Should we end it off? All right, so okay, we might be ending the live right now. Okay, we will restart the live in a bit. Okay, we just need to reset up some things. Okay, we will be right back. Okay, thank you everyone so much for joining. All right.